Minnesota has become the latest battleground in America's immigration debate, and this time the voices coming from the state are filled with anger, fear, and disbelief. Senator Amy Klobuchar stepped before cameras with a blunt message: ICE needs to get off our streets.
I recognize Senator Amy Klobuchar for 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Good morning, everyone. We are gathered today because our state is once again the center of America's heartbreak. And it means so much, Congresswoman Jayapal and Omar, that you've brought this together, that we have people from all over the country to stand with us. And I want to thank our incredible leaders, the two mayors, as well as Attorney General Ellison, who's been at the forefront of these legal fights. ICE needs to get off our streets. They are causing confusion, chaos, and fear. They are literally chasing DoorDash delivery people into private homes where there are children. They are chasing down legal citizens in parking lots and wrestling them down, as the Congresswoman just noted, in front of Menards and in Targets. But instead of de-escalating the situation, the administration has doubled down. People are saying, look at my passport, look at my passport. Legal workers at our airport, Native Americans are being targeted on the way to their jobs. I recently met with principals in city and suburban schools in Minnesota, and they told me the horror stories of little kids scared, teachers being wrestled down in front of them in their school parking lot, graduates being stopped. And now the administration has chosen to send even more ICE officers, to the point now where there are nearly 3,000 of them, which is significantly more than the 1,100 sworn officers in Minneapolis and St. Paul combined, and equal to these sworn officers in 10 metropolitan police departments. This is completely, as the mayors know, out of balance, and it is chaos. We are telling our people who are so offended for their neighbors and are standing up, not just in organized protests, but are just standing up when they see it happen in stores. We are telling them to be peaceful and not to take the bait from the threats coming out of the White House, because in the end, these people would not be here from all over the country if they didn't believe that democracy will prevail, that the rule of law will prevail. But this is who we are in Minnesota. We are the people that slide down icy hills to get to a protest. We are the people that quietly and loudly come together to help our neighbors. We are the people, in the words of Renee Good's wife, Becca, lost the love of her life, a mom of 3, who said that we must reject hate and embrace compassion. So that is what I hope our representatives will pick up from their time in Minnesota and from our incredible witnesses today, that we're standing together, regardless, Democrats, Republicans, even though some people are louder than another. People know that this invasion is not what our state is about, and we're going to stand up. Thank you.
Her remarks were not political theater. They were a warning about what many residents say they are now living through every single day. Before we go deeper, take a second to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss updates on stories that affect real communities like this one. Klobuchar described scenes that sound more like something from a crisis zone than the Midwest. She spoke of delivery drivers being chased into private homes, legal citizens tackled in parking lots, Native Americans questioned on their way to work, and children watching adults wrestled to the ground outside their schools. According to the senator, these are not isolated incidents, but part of a growing pattern that has left neighborhoods confused and terrified. Subscribe to the channel as we continue to break down what this means for everyday families. The senator pointed out that instead of calming tensions, the federal response has been to increase the number of ICE officers in the state. Nearly 3,000 agents are now operating in Minnesota, more than the combined number of sworn police officers in Minneapolis and St. Paul. For many local leaders, that imbalance feels like an occupation rather than law enforcement. Klobuchar argued that such a massive presence creates chaos instead of safety, and she questioned why legal workers showing passports are still being detained. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow how this policy unfolds. What makes this moment especially painful is the setting. Minnesota has long seen itself as a welcoming place, a state built by immigrants from Scandinavia, East Africa, Latin America, and many other regions. Klobuchar reminded listeners that this is a community known for helping neighbors during snowstorms, not for hunting them in parking lots. She invoked the words of Becca, the wife of Renee Good, who recently lost her life, saying the answer must be to reject hate and embrace compassion. Make sure you subscribe as we continue bringing the human stories behind the headlines. The senator also warned protesters not to fall for provocation. Demonstrations have erupted outside stores and schools where ICE operations were reported, and emotions are running high. Klobuchar urged people to remain peaceful, insisting that democracy and the rule of law will eventually prevail. Yet she admitted that fear is spreading faster than reassurance. Parents are scared to send kids to school, workers hesitate to drive to the airport, and even lifelong citizens wonder if they could be next. Subscribe now so you stay informed as communities respond. Behind the political arguments lies a deeper question about what kind of country America wants to be. Supporters of the crackdown say strict enforcement is necessary to control the border and protect public safety. Critics counter that constitutional rights are being ignored and that racial profiling has become routine. Klobuchar's speech reflected that divide, portraying Minnesota as a testing ground where the limits of federal power are being pushed. Hit subscribe so you can hear voices from both sides in upcoming reports. What is clear is that this issue is no longer abstract. It is happening in grocery store parking lots, in schoolyards, and on quiet residential streets. The senator's message was not just aimed at Washington, but at ordinary Americans, asking them to recognize the humanity of their neighbors. Whether one agrees with her or not, the testimony she shared forces a national conversation about fairness, security, and dignity. Subscribe to stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story.